All right, so today on Spurs Bros episode 2, we're going to recap the last week of Spurs basketball since our first episode last Tuesday. Who stood out? What do we think about some of the players on the roster, rotations off the bench as the season progresses, and a couple of interesting little points. Going to get into some zodiac signs, 3-point shooting for the big men. We're going to get into Sports Illustrated covers, lawsuits, and our last preseason game against the Rockets on Thursday. So that's the rundown of the episode, and let's get into it.
All righty, Spurs Bros, welcome back for episode 2.
Week two, baby.
Yes, sir. I am your host, Alec Bogus. This is my co-host, Reagan Keough, and we have the full squad on here tonight. Tim Mendez and Stuart Lynch joining us as well.
What's up,
Welcome, welcome.
fellas?
How's it
What's up,
going?
fellas?
Please introduce yourselves. Come on, Tim. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm Tim. The four of us have been in a group text called Spurs Bros for how long has it been? Like at
Few
least
years,
Yeah.
years.
three,
At
3 years.
least.
But yeah, that's most of what we talk about in that text. And you know, whose idea was it? Alec, Reagan, just might as well record this stuff. Like we're talking about it anyways. Maybe some people will listen and maybe try to grow this thing.
Yep.
We've all been lifelong Spurs fans, been to countless games at the arena, and it's going to be fun to talk about it on a weekly basis. Last couple of years have been pretty tough. High lottery picks, but things are looking up. I think Vegas over under win totals like 33, 34 and a half. So, 22 and 60 seasons the last 2 years. So
Yep.
he's looking up. So yeah, I'm excited.
I love it, man. Stu, what say you?
What's up, fellas? Stu, good to be here. Yeah, Tim said it best. We've been talking every day in the group for years now. We're like, might as well, come in
Yep.
here once a week, once a month, whatever, and chop it up. So let's do it.
I love it. Yeah. And folks, again, whoever's listening, y'all start to sort of see the different dynamic take place with Tim and Stu on board. We're happy that they're here. And I just can't wait to sort of get rolling with you guys. Recapping from the last week that we spoke last Tuesday, Reagan, we had just played our first preseason game. We had lost to the Thunder. And since then, we have gone 2-1. We just beat the Magic and the Jazz, and then we just lost to the Heat tonight by 3 points. Did y'all catch the last game tonight against the Heat?
Saw the first quarter tonight with the main rotation in, which was interesting. You looks like you might be onto something, Alec, from last week. Julian Champagny starting at the two.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, but Wimby played what 17 minutes tonight.
Mhm.
Um, Chris
All for
Paul, yeah, all about 17, 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
So I watched the important minutes, I think, in the first half.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
and I
watched some.
think.
I caught about as much of it as Pop cared, I cared about it as much as Pop did. So shoot, a little bit. I caught some of it.
Jeez, Stu. We'll save that take for in a second, as we'll get to. Yeah, against the Heat, we had a chance to win the game or at least tie the game up, and we did not call timeout to draw a play up, which I thought was just malpractice. But Pop's Pop, and as Sean Elliott said, he wanted to go to dinner. So
Hey, in Pop we trust though. I
The,
don't
the
know.
wine
I
was
don't know about
calling.
y'all,
yeah,
but in Pop I trust. And my take is it's preseason, and maybe we don't want to show too much on film just yet. We got a
sure.
big nationally televised opener against the Mavericks night one. We don't want to show too much just yet. I don't know.
all
I don't
right,
know. I'm trying to give him a little benefit of the doubt, but Stu, I don't think you think the same thing.
yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah,
Got young
yeah.
guys out there trying to learn. See the head coach not giving a shit. Why would they?
Fair
That's
point.
what we have Stu on this podcast. Is he's going to be that pessimistic voice. Tim's the analyst. I'm more the optimist, and I think Reagan's probably more in the middle. But yeah, so I kind of want to go through a little bit tonight of just like who's sort of impressed since then over the last week. Kind of want to riff a little bit on first off, I guess Stephon Castle. So, Stephon, as we mentioned, Reagan in our last chat, his shot, it's going to be a work in progress, I believe, as was evidenced tonight. But all of his other strengths are just going to be so evident that we're gonna need him on the floor. And as Pop said, he's gonna have serious minutes really soon into the season. So since that game against the Thunder, where he had 5 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds in 19 minutes, he's gone on to post the following stat lines. Against the Magic, he led the team in scoring, 17 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds in 22 minutes. Against the Jazz, 11 points, including this sick play, which I kind of want to play for you guys. It was just a badass Hardaway killer crossover into a dunk on a Jazz player. So already shown an advanced skill set there, along with 3 assists, 2 rebounds in 19 minutes. And then tonight, although he didn't score a lot, he had 6 points, 5 assists, and 2 rebounds. Again, literally every game he's played in, he's had 2 boards. So I guess that'll be the line. That'll be the betting line. I guess it's just like over under 2 boards.
See that line go up a little bit. If it's me, I always see 4 or 5 boards if you can. He's 6'6".
I think so. But either way, I think he just really, again, showcased tonight, specifically against the Heat, some really cool stuff. So I kind of wanted to go through a few things. I wish we were tech savvy enough already so early into our podcast as to like kind of show these highlights as I was explaining it, but it was really cool to see. So against the Heat, he missed from deep. Again, his shot's going to be a work in progress, but he didn't get rattled. In the fourth quarter, he kind of went off. In the fourth quarter, he had a beautiful string of plays. First, he gets to the basket on what looked to be like a design play. He catches the ball sort of mid-post, and Zach Collins comes over. He sets a screen for him in the mid-post area around the free throw line, comes around, gets fouled. Next time down, he hits another slow step, gets Bassey a drop-down pass for a dunk. Then he gets back screen for a 3, but then he gets pissed off. He comes down again. He gets aggressive and literally just takes it right at the guy who hits a 3 on him. And so he gets to the free throw line. It was just beautiful, dude. It was just beautiful. So yeah, he turned it over at the very end, but again, he didn't let that slow him down. He had another steal, got a dish to Malachi for a breakaway layup, and then he had another contest. Like, I think there was like 30 seconds left in the game. Shot clock was winding down. Guy goes after him one-on-one, and he just has a perfect contest. And it was just beautiful. Again, it was just beautiful basketball. And again, so it's just like these strengths that are just showing up again and again that are already, I'm sure, impressing Coach Pop. And you got to believe that he's going to be in there in close games, in close situations already, just because of his defensive prowess.
Yep.
So,
defense.
Yeah, man.
I think to that point about his ability to affect the game, what I've seen a lot of people online already talking about is the poise that he's playing with, and he doesn't seem like he's playing too fast.
Yes,
which is a good sign this early if he can kind of see the game, let things come to him. He's not speeding up. I think that's probably a big adjustment for 99% of guys that get drafted, right? Is that first year realizing how freaking fast these NBA guys are compared to the college game. When they're slowing it down, extra 6 seconds on the shot clock. So he's playing under control for the most part. I mean, he's making the rookie mistakes, but
yep.
I don't think it's because he's playing too fast or out of control. I think he's trying to really think the game, which is a cool thing to see for a rookie.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from learning from Dan Hurley too. So already kind of in an NBA program in college, so got the taste of it.
Totally. Exactly right. No, he's been a quick learner. That's what everybody said. From practice to practice, he's already improved. And from obviously game to game, he's already improved. Go ahead, Tim.
We already talked about, his pace and stuff. He's game is definitely not too fast for him. He plays at his own pace. He takes those steps that gets defenders up in the air. He has a knack for drawing fouls.
Yep.
He should probably average around 6 free throws a game. And that game against Orlando, he shot 10 free throws.
Yep.
In his post-game interview, he was mad that he went 7 for 10, I think. So, he's like a perfectionist. Yeah, wise beyond his years, for sure.
I love it. No, great
signs.
Yeah. Trey Jones as well. He's just been steady asset as well since the preseason has started. He's kind of just been doing what's required of him, just being a threat on offense when needed, driving, dishing, kind of what we saw last year. And then tonight against the Heat, he kind of, at the end of the half, he had a nice, beautiful floater off the glass on the left side to sort of keep us in it. We were down, I think, 12. I think he cut it to 10 or something like that, 10 or 8. And again, just was just Trey. I mean, Trey's just like been such an asset, a steady player for us. And so, nothing different from him this year. Malachi, what do we think about Malachi
Branham? I don't know, man. Like, he scored tonight, but
yeah,
I mean, we were talking about it earlier. He scored tonight, but I feel like he's the same player he was last year.
Yeah,
What's he
so
doing
only
any
only
differently?
only so many guys can get on the floor. If he's not
That's what I'm
producing,
saying.
yeah, I don't know how he'll find his minutes on the floor.
Him and Blake came in at the same time, and they're like the same player pretty much.
Right.
Tons of potential, speedy, 6'3", skinny guards, combo guards. Blake Wesley's taken a step up
Yeah.
in his skill set and his physicality. I don't think Malachi. What has he done so far? I know it's preseason. I know it's early. I know he's only there to score, but looks like the same player to me so
Gonna say
far.
he's definitely a better scorer than Blake,
Yes.
but Blake is the
Absolutely.
better all around, which we kind of need.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, we do need a scorer too, but you know,
It's really interesting. Tim, do you have any takes?
I think he last year got into Pop's doghouse a little bit, lost his minutes to
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Calvin, man,
Yeah.
hasn't defended as hard as Blake has.
Yep.
Yeah, I was really expecting a year two leap last year. Summer League, he had like a 30-point game, a
Yep.
couple 20-point games. Man, his three has low key not been falling recently. Like, yeah, we need his three to drop for sure. That he's a bucket getter. But I think we experimented with him bringing up the ball last year, and he got his pocket picked a couple times. And
Yep.
but yeah, I don't know if he's
yeah,
like
he'd have to play as an undersized two, and then he's just getting
Exactly.
beat on defense every, so doesn't make
Exactly.
up for it his offensive game.
No, I completely agree. This kind of leads into sort of next topic. I kind of want to bring up a couple of other players, but this sort of also leads into the next topic as well, which is like sort of rotations off the bench as the season progresses. So, over the past few games, you've seen Trey Jones, Blake Wesley, Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, and then with the mixture of either a big of Zach Collins or
Oh
just
man,
keeping Sohan in there or something. And it's been really interesting because you're right, guys. It's like he's an undersized two. He's a 6'4". I think on Google they have him listed as 6'4", and like ESPN 6'5". He's 6'4". Um, and so it's like you got him, Trey Jones, who's small, but he's obviously earned a spot and he's been steady for us. So he's going to get minutes. Blake Wesley, he's been working his absolute ass off. And the Stephon, 6'6", strong. He's going to get minutes again just because of what we just talked about. Keldon, he's going to get minutes, of course. He's a vet.
Keldon looked good against the
Yeah.
Jazz. He
Yeah.
came off the bench, and that's what we were talking about last week, Alec, was I wanted to see how he was going to use this transformed body that
Sin
he's,
boy.
dropped, 15, 20 pounds over the summer. He looked fast, man. He said it
He
in the
did.
post-game interview, too. He said, I feel faster. I think he's playing faster, under control. And I think like all the weight that he's dropped is been fat. He's kept his muscle though, because he was
Yes.
still able to get into the paint a little bit and kind of body those other guards or bigger
Hmm.
forwards out of the way a bit. So it's not
Mhm.
like he's not strong anymore. I just think he's a leaner, faster, hopefully better conditioned.
Yep.
And he absolutely caught a body in Utah too in the late in the fourth quarter as we were kind of
Yes.
making
The one
that
on the
comeback.
fast break.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
he got
Yeah,
that dump off pass, fast break, 2 steps, bam.
Someone please show that clip. Yeah.
I like the body transformation, but he's still playing like big body Keldon. He's had like already just in the preseason, he's crashed the offensive glass a little bit more, and he's had some tip-ins.
Yes.
I've seen at least two or three
Yep.
getting tip-ins, and Keldon, he gets all hyped. He's the most energetic
I
on the team.
think
That's
that's
why
why we keep him around still. With all the trade talks and stuff, but he's still here. I think it's that, yeah, locker room vibe, the energy.
I love
Yeah.
him. I
He's
love him.
literally I think definitely our longest tenured player at this point, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's him,
Yeah.
and
Gotta
then
be, yeah.
yeah,
Him or was he drafted before or after Trey Jones?
he was
Or
before. Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
2019. Yeah. Trey
Yep.
was 2020.
Yeah, Trey was 2020, second round. Okay.
Yep. But no, exactly. Kind of going back to this Malachi thing, it's like where do you put him with all these other small guards? It was really interesting to see Pop sort of, play with all these small guards on the floor. We turned up the defensive intensity and played well. I mean, again, obviously almost went 3-0 in our last three preseason games since then. First off, I mean, our defense is already going to be better. I can already predict that as much. Just the guys that we're going to put on the floor, our defensive rotation, our rotations off the bench, it's already going to be way better than what we saw last year. Guarantee that. But it's just really interesting to see, again, so many small guys out there. Where do you put Malachi if he's not scoring? How many games do you give
So
him?
here's a question then. I mean, because if you're talking about coming in spot scoring off the bench, we talked about Malachi Flynn last night. We got two Malachis. We got a battle of the Malachis right now.
Here we go with
What's
Flynn.
Yeah.
what's he doing to differentiate himself from Malachi Flynn, man? I don't see Branham going for
Well,
50.
Flynn lives in Austin. He lives in SA. So
Hey.
There's one difference there, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, what's the difference? I mean, they're both undersized two little shooting guards that are supposed to come in and score. I don't know if Flynn's going to make the roster, but
Yeah.
Branham, I think just because of the draft capital we spent on him is going to have to get minutes this year to see what we have. But yeah, I mean,
It'll
just to your point is all I'm saying. Like, what's he doing to differentiate himself from everybody else on the roster, including a guy that may not even make the roster as of right now?
I kind of agree. I think he's probably just a better. Again, he scores in bunches. Malachi does.
Yeah.
Branham. But I mean, yeah. Beyond that, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's a lot of people talking online saying like, "What are we just going to pick up his option, his contract option for what is it? Is it this year or next year?" It
who,
is for
Flynn or Branham?
no Branham.
Okay.
Branham should be this year. He was a first round pick, so
Okay.
it should be team option this year if we want to pick
Okay.
him up, which we should. I don't see why we just let him go for nothing. You
Yeah.
know, he's a first round pick from 3 years ago. I don't see why somebody else wouldn't want to take a chance on him if we're kind of sold at the deadline and we can get something back. I mean,
Yep.
you saw Brian Wright wants to grab every second round pick we can.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he's worth a second or package him in with someone else, but
It's Jeremy, Malachi, and Blake who all have their options. I mean, obviously Jeremy's most likely to get the extension, but if this is the first year of the team options, yeah, obviously you pick up the first year. But second year, yeah, if things don't start improving more, yeah, you gotta maybe make some tough decisions.
Yeah, looking at it right now, we actually
Right.
have until the end of this month to decide whether to pick up the fourth year for him. So his
Got it.
season this year is guaranteed, but we've got another
Hmm.
16 calendar days as of this recording to pick up his fourth year or not. So stay tuned for that.
Let's see here. I kind of wanted to get into sort of Wemby as well, sort of like how he's played the two games that he has played out of the four. I don't have a ton of takes on him so far. I think shooting wise, he hasn't been, I guess, shooting that well as well. But what's really interesting is he's sort of done a great job of adding in this sort of like exaggerated up fake, pump fake. Have you seen that? Yeah, like he did it a lot.
He
he got one in that
double
first
clutch
game,
dunk. Yeah.
He did exactly. He did it, and he got that double clutch dunk. And then tonight he did it twice. One, he got somebody up in the air again, and then he drove and kicked. And then the second time he did it again, got somebody up in the air, and he got fouled. Went to the free throw line. It reminds me low key or high key actually of Manu's. I don't know if y'all remember Manu. He just give that super exaggerated like,
way up over his head.
Way up over his head and to get people all the time. And so it's really interesting to see like Wemby's 7'5". Nobody's going to contest his shot.
I was going to say no one should be jumping anyways. They can't contest. Yeah.
Yeah. But people are jumping, dude. So it's really interesting to see him like already like incorporate that. I think that'll be a way to get an extra 2-3 points a game there.
And the times that he has gotten people on that, I feel like potentially his release point is so high. And he's showing that ball that high up there. Guys are selling out to try to get a normal contest.
Totally.
So, as opposed to a 6'8" guy, they're not going to have to come a foot and a half off the ground to try to get a contest off. Well, like they have to with Wemby. So they're selling completely out, and he's going right by. He gives them all the time in the world to move past him there. So
yeah, no, that's true. Like yeah. No, I was thinking like you don't want to like on film sessions to look like you didn't contest against Wemby, even though he's just like way taller than everybody. So like you have to kind of oversell it. I can see that as well. Tim, what did you see? Anything from the past two games against?
He's been making some wild passes. I hope he's just like experimenting in the preseason. As regular season game, yeah, Pop's gonna get pissed at him for some of these passes. Like full court and
working on the no looks.
Yeah.
I saw the full court pass attempt. Was it against the Magic the other night?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was ugly. He went third
To
row.
the 10th row. Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, 10th row. So, but
Yeah.
I, just like he's got the Manu pump fake, he's getting the Manu leash on some of these passes as he
There you
starts to become a
go.
little bit more of a playmaker. Who knows? I don't know, but what
Yeah.
kind of leash Pop decides to extend to him will
Yeah,
be
exactly.
interesting, especially with Chris Paul and Trey Jones, two guys who can facilitate the offense. He might not need to be as much of a playmaker and take those sort of risks. So,
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Which,
know. We'll see what the leash ends up being.
yeah, that's true. Next up is sort of Zach Collins. What are we seeing from Zach Collins, fellas? I mean, he made I think it was preseason debut. Was it the
Thief
second
of the
game?
century. Thief of the
Oh,
century.
oh my gosh. All
What's he
right.
making this year? 17?
18.
Ugh.
Coming out robbing the Spurs organization every day of his life. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
I
We
have
did. Go ahead,
I
Tim.
have spot track, whatever, pulled up. No, he actually makes more next year. It's
Oh, Lord.
16.7 this year and a little over 18 next year.
Wait,
Great.
what? We have him for next year too?
Yeah.
Yeah, the extension got
I
him through
thought it
next
was a
season.
2-year.
Oh gosh.
No,
So
it
just
was 2 years on top of what he already had, and he
Oh,
signed that before last season. So he's got this year and next year guaranteed
just
on the
off me
books.
now. I can't take it. I can't take 2 more seasons of it.
you can't, Stu. You're done with this guy
For
already.
the folks that don't know what he shot from the 3-point line in his first preseason game against the Jazz this past week, 0 for 6 against the Jazz. 0 for 6. I think
I
everybody else shot at least 50% from the floor, and Zach was 0 for 6 from 3. He didn't play the next game, and then tonight against the Heat, he didn't take any. So I think he might have got a message somewhere.
I don't know what's worse, him not making one or him even taking 6. I don't know what it would even be in his brain to even take 6 threes.
I
Shouldn't
think,
take more than one a game on a pick and pop.
yeah.
He
Well,
was he was talking on a podcast recently, and they were asking him about how he likes playing with Pop and everything, and he said that he went through a slump last year, and I was thinking to myself, well, that's being generous to yourself there, bud. But he went through a slump, and Pop literally came out and said, I don't want you to even look at another 3-point shot. No threes for you. And he said he went a stretch last year, a few games without taking any, and then he would kind of take one in practice and kind of gave a pump fake here and there. And then he started taking them again, and he got a green light because he knocked a few down.
oh
That
my.
green light needs to go red as soon as possible.
Has
Yeah.
to.
I don't want to sit through another Zach Collins 3-point slump. Go to the rim, big fella.
I don't want to sit through any Zach Collins minutes. Just put Mamu in, please.
Well, yeah, we could talk about that as well. But no, I really do think that he probably, worked hard over the summer. He's like, I've got my shot back. And then I think he stepped on the floor for the first time since, he went out last year. And I think it's just all mental now. I really do. I think he's like, oh shoot, remember when? Remember when, Zach? Remember when I, went through that slump and he just shit the bed again.
got the yips.
Yeah, exactly. But Spurs fans, why Stewart's so upset is because for every game, whether he suits up or not, this coming season he'll make $203,000, $203,658. So it's kind of a lot of dollars to
That's a lot of dollars,
to go
man.
over
Be one of the
6.
worst players on the roster. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting. Tim, any takes on Zach that we haven't already said so far?
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a couple open threes tonight, and yeah, he wasn't looking for it tonight. He had some good finishes at the rim. Just focus on that. Focus on finishing at the rim. I mean, if you don't have him out there making threes, do you? I mean, obviously we all want Mamu to play more, but like if he's not shooting or making threes, would you rather have Bassi out there? I mean, maybe.
He's more physical, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thing is about Zach, it's not just us four talking about it. It's all over Spurs Twitter. Everyone knows it. The whole city knows it. So is it Pop just, being stubborn? What's he in for still?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's go that route because I think you're right, Stuart. Everybody notices that he's not shooting the ball well and probably not going to change with any sort of consistency. What are we going to trade him for? We can't trade him for right now. So
just cut him.
Kind of just cut him straight up, just gone. Eat the salary.
Just
buy him out.
I'd rather have your boy Flynn on the team than him.
Oh my gosh. That's not,
Man, I feel like the hope has got to be that he should like he posts a respectable stat line and
Yeah.
some
So he builds up
contender
some
has a big
something we
man
can
go
trade him for.
down. Yeah, if some contender loses their backup big and we want to trade Zach Collins for a late first round pick or something like that, maybe we do that in February at the deadline. But
First round pick.
I
Yeah.
mean, depending on leverage, I don't know if he's GMs have a short term memory, right? And say that who's the backup center for the Suns, right? Matt Ishbia is just buying everybody possible right now. So is it Jock Landale or no? He's in
I
Houston
don't know
now.
who it is now.
It might be Eubanks. No, Eubanks is in Utah. So whoever that backup, no name backup is in Phoenix, that person goes down in January for the year. They need a backup big. Zach Collins is all of a sudden shooting 40% from 3-point land for the last 3 weeks leading up to the deadline. Maybe we get a late first rounder in 6 years. Who knows? Or it's
There
a
you go.
swap. I don't know. But I mean, realistically, what's his value?
Did you
Yeah,
say
if it's 6 years or more, Brian will be down for it.
Yeah, or a second rounder. Just trade for a second rounder instead of a
Another
first.
second. Yeah.
Yeah, gosh.
New Orleans just said the other day that Herb Jones is going to be their starting center.
I saw
So
that.
Herb. And maybe DJ
Right.
will put in some good words for him or something.
Moving along here. This just kind of came out today or maybe even yesterday or something. Austin Rivers, he came on Twitter. He's been given these really interesting sort of NBA takes, just like posing these interesting ideas. Who do you think will be the better player? Who do you think will have the better career? And so just recently today or yesterday, he posted this video about the San Antonio Spurs going to be champions in 5 years. And he went into this, 3-minute video as to why, but he kind of just laid out as everything that we all know as an organization that all of us Spurs bros know. We've got the winning DNA. You got Pop. We know how to build around a superstar, that sort of thing. And so we had the playbook, is what he says, and we know how to put it, role players around guys as well. So really interesting take, but it's something I kind of agree with. Do you agree with this timeline though? 5 years? Do you think we could be champions in 5 years? He said not everybody on that team that's going to be on this team starting in 2024 is going to be on that team. But he said there will be pieces, obviously, like Wemby, for example, that will be part of a championship team come 5 years from now. What do y'all
Austin
think?
Rivers knows how to start a dialogue.
Yeah.
I will say that he knows how to start a dialogue. In the summer, he was talking about 30 NBA players that can play in the NFL versus the other way around. Not going to happen. So the man knows how to start conversations. I agree with this. Next 5 years, championship. It comes to San Antonio. That would be by 2029 season. Absolutely. I don't
Yeah.
think the majority of the players on the roster will be there for that. I agree.
Mm-mm.
But let's say in 3 years' time, Wimby's a ripe age of 24 going into the playoffs that year, making a deep run. Vassell, Sohan, and whoever else is on the roster at that time with Castle. I absolutely see it happening, fellas. We can go get a big name. Brian Windhorst's been talking about we're going to be a destination spot for big name players coming on the market in future years.
Mm.
I agree with Austin Rivers.
I do
Okay.
too. I don't think it's some crazy take, yeah, as Reagan said, as Austin said, yeah, we're nowhere near it right now. I don't see much of the guys we have now being on any sort of contending team. I don't even know about Jeremy or Devin, but for sure I'd say Castle and Wimby. But yeah, we're still a lot of moves away, a lot of trades away, or picking up someone on the market. But I think it's possible.
I agree. It might 5 years from now, yeah, it might just be Wemby, Vassell, Castle, and then a whole bunch of other new guys. But with a generational talent like Wemby, you obviously got to contend as soon as possible.
Yep.
And that's why we have all these first round picks, maybe second round picks help too. That's why Brian wants them. So yeah, we should definitely be contenders, or I think that's a massive disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, by then Braun's out of the league, KD's out of the league, Steph's out of the
Yes.
league. I mean, the West should be Wimby, Shea,
Luka.
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 Yeah.
That's
Jokic.
probably the big three right there.
Well, I guess Ant-Man, but
And
yeah, I mean,
Jokic.
there's no
Yeah.
reason we're not top 5 team every season in 5 years from now. So
That's true. I agree. And you know what? I bet you the front office has probably had this conversation with Wemby about like, we know you want to go fast. We want to win as much as you do. But I'm wondering if they did the comparisons of like, hey, MJ didn't win his first ring until he was 28. Other all-time
yeah,
greats, Bron, I think, was like 27 until he won his first ring. Same with Steph
Yeah.
Curry. Shaq was 28 as well. So it's really interesting. Other than, Tim Duncan and Kobe, who won really, really young. You've got all these other all-time greats who it took a while for them to get there. So, I mean, being 24 years old and hopefully having competed for a championship by then, that's not bad. That wouldn't be bad.
I mean, I think we're a better run organization than the Dallas Mavericks, and we've seen Luka get to the finals this year at age 25. I don't see any reason why Wemby can't accelerate that timeline by a year or even 2 years.
Yeah,
He's special.
I
Luka's
agree, man.
special, but Wemby is specialer.
Specialer est. Reagan, you kind of wanted to touch on this Zodiac GM. What you got for us there?
Yeah, it's probably a bit niche
No, I love it.
here, but do any of you guys follow or see these tweets come up from the Zodiac GM on Twitter?
I do.
So the whole premise of this account is analyzing the synergy in teams, analyzing the synergy of teams and athletes through a zodiac lens. So they're basically lining up, which I know nothing about this crap. The only thing I know is that I'm a
no,
Sagittarius, so that's all I know. But he's basically this person is looking at players, teammates and their signs and lining them up. Apparently, Chris Paul is a Taurus with a Sagittarius moon. Victor Wembanyama is a Capricorn with a Gemini moon, and that is apparently an A+ relationship, as good
shit.
as it gets. And that tweet was in response to the crazy lob that we saw against the Magic late last week, which was pretty nasty. Chris Paul going baseline, he's able to dump that little lob pass over the defense as they commit late. Wemby throws it down for an and one all over one of the Wagner brothers.
Yep.
So just a fun little thing to get into the connection that those two might have. But yeah, you don't see an A+ on the Zodiac GM every day.
That's true. And you know what? What made me actually follow them was when Stephon Castle got drafted. I think he was also listed as like an A or an A+ or something as well. And I'm like, that makes sense. So, really interesting, man. I don't know. I don't follow any of that kind of like you don't, Reagan, but
Brian's
maybe there is
probably
something there.
following all that to make all his moves.
Exactly, dude. That's what he's basing all his moves on. Guys, y'all gonna hear a lot of Brian chirping around in these podcasts as well. But
Yeah, so just to keep up with the bullshit of the Zodiac GM here, like you said, Alex, Fawn Castle got drafted. Synergy grade was an A+. He fit with Wemby, he fit with Sohan, and he fit with Vassell.
I believe it.
Synergy grade A+ with those three guys. So I
It's
don't know
just
how
like
this
the
team's
core.
going to stack up, but god dang, they're going to get along together well.
That is literally like the core that we'd have on our potential
Yeah.
championship team. Like those are the guys
4
that we
starters
need
right
around.
Vibes are
there. Yeah,
high.
Yeah, the vibes are high.
that's funny.
Says Zodiac GM. That's interesting. Sort of next thing we wanted to cover was Wemby got on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That was pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw that. Pretty cool feat for
I
him.
missed this.
No, yeah. I mean, I think it was first time on there, kind of a big deal. The reason I saw this is because there was a YouTube video that kind of got posted. It was like 10 burning questions with Victor Wembanyama, and it was posted by Sports Illustrated. And then I saw the news afterwards, but they asked him some stupid, silly questions. What's your favorite food since you tried since living in America? Or what's your favorite Star Wars character? And then they asked him some like basketball questions of, are you the best defender in the NBA? Any NBA player that you'd like to play with in the past? I think he said Wilt Chamberlain again. I think he's already mentioned that before. And he's like, who do you want taking the last shot, you or Wilt? And he was like, well, if it's a hook shot, I want Wilt. If it's a 3-pointer, I want me. Something like that. So now good for him. Obviously, he deserves, all the attention that he's going to get. We're going to see. I think we're going to see something special from him this year. Hasn't really seen it yet. From those first 2 preseason games, haven't had a ton of minutes, still shaking off some rust, at least from his shooting stroke goes. But I think we're going to see him continue to keep up with the hype.
Yeah, dude, it's a different era with Wemby. I mean, I know Tim brought us 5 rings. I hope Wemby can do the same. But as
Mhm.
far as like star power and popularity and marketability, Wemby's leaning into it. It's going to be really exciting to see all the stuff and the eyes that are going to go on San Antonio in the next 10, 15 years with Victor around. I'm excited for it. He's got a Louis Vuitton sponsorship deal. He's
Yeah.
cover of Sports Illustrated now. He's got the Nike deal. His shoes are going to start, coming out. I think this year with the whole alien marketing campaign. It's a different
Mhm.
level. I'm excited. I don't know. I don't know what this is like
I know,
as a San Antonio Spurs fan.
We had Tim Duncan our whole lives, so
but he was so low key though. Like,
exactly, yeah.
he never brought this kind of attention. He was just the winner. He was just the winner amongst winners, and that was amazing. I love that. And now he's kind of had that same vibe, that same just stoic vibe about him, except he's also an alien, and so he's drawing all this insane attention from literally everywhere, all across the world. So, yeah, it will be interesting, and that's why I'm kind of excited that we're doing this podcast again as well, just because we get to track that journey and just kind of see that along the way.
Yep, good
See,
timing to come into it.
yeah, exactly. Break, and I know you wanted to touch on this breaking news and the Spurs
Yeah,
Bros podcast.
breaking news brought to you by Spurs Bros podcast by way of Kins Five. So shout out Kins Five. No, but Wimby, speaking of the alien, is filing a lawsuit, federal level lawsuit here that's basically for NIL. Obviously, NIL is college level, but this guy named James Glodich basically started a website last year, October 24th of last year. So it's almost been a full year. Day before Wemby made his NBA debut, he filed a trademark application for Wemby's World for retail goods services. So he's been selling merchandise for the past year. Apparently, the Spurs organization, Wemby's reps, have been sending him multiple cease and desist letters, telling him to cut his shit out. And he has not paid attention to that at all. So they're coming after him to tell him can't do this anymore. We didn't give you any permission. Um, they're coming after anything that may falsely suggest a connection with Victor Wembanyama. And yeah, he's got the domain name is wembysworld.com. Nobody visit the site. Nobody buy anything from this guy. We have to protect our alien. We have to protect our cornerstone, franchise cornerstone here.
Yep.
James Glodich can dip out. He needs to step off, as the great Jack Black once said in School of Rock. Step off, Glodich. All right, this is our boy. Don't come near him. You want to sell Wemby stuff, you got to get your permission out. And he's learning that real quick. Federal lawsuit, and they've requested a jury trial actually. So they're taking this
Damn.
thing pretty seriously.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, good for
That
Should have
him.
news
just
broke
stepped off
today.
after that first cease and desist,
For
made his
real,
money
man.
and dip, and now he's just gonna go to jail.
Yep, go to jail. He's gonna have to. They're wanting all the damages basically for everything that he's sold up until this point. So all those royalties or whatever share would be fair for a typical deal like that is what they're coming after. All those sales, and yeah, probably jail time with the way the trial's looking.
The
So
money's gonna go to Wemby.
Oof.
I think that's what they're asking for. Yeah, for all the sales of that retail merchandise. So we'll see. We'll keep up with it. Not the best headline going into first week of the year, but
Yeah.
hopefully this is something that people in the background can take care of and let Wemby focus on dunking on people.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys care about the annual NBA GM survey that comes out every year. Did
Yeah.
everybody look at that?
Oh, I saw all the votes.
No,
You
tell
saw?
me.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So,
Tell
No
me,
one
Tim.
respecting Pop.
oh yeah, he didn't get any coaching
Not
votes.
even in the top. Yeah, top like
I
5
guess
coaches in the league.
yeah. Well, the big one, and it's obvious, but if you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player, who would it be? Wemby got 77% of the vote. Uh, Shea and Jokic were next at only 10%, so huge margin.
So Luca wasn't on that list. It was Shea Gilgeous, Alexander, and the Joker.
Wow.
Luca was fourth at 3%.
Okay.
Oh, sorry to say, Dallas Mavericks.
Wow.
Which team will be most improved? Spurs were second, 13%. The Grizzlies were first.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, there's some good ones. Castle got Rookie of the Year. He came in third behind Reed and Zach Edey. Zach Edey, man.
Zach Edey
Zach
for
I've been
two.
seeing Edie because he's going to be the starting center and just screen and roll all day long with Ja. He's going to
Yeah,
be
dude.
getting rebounds, getting free dunks.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he's a massive favorite to win Rookie of the Year.
I saw Chris Vernon of the Ringer is a big Grizzlies fan. I think he lives in Memphis, and he put out a Zach Edey highlight tape yesterday, and it was all like 8 feet and in, hook
Yeah,
shots, dunks, offensive rebound, putbacks, getting drop offs. The dude is huge.
Yeah,
yeah.
He
He's
is
huge.
massive, and I don't know, he actually looked pretty good. The toucher on the rim was pretty nice.
He
He
has
was
good.
making Miles Turner look like he forgot how to play defense. I know it's preseason, but Miles
Wow.
Turner's a 10-year vet, and Edie looked pretty dang good against him.
I'm curious to see him and Wemby match up. Like, Zach Edey
Yeah, that
7'3",
He'll
and they
body
had,
Wimby, but
well,
he's
yeah,
probably got 60 pounds on Wimby.
well, so you know what the people have been doing? I don't know if y'all have been noticing, but like they're putting people's power forwards on Wemby. And so if he blows by and gets to the basket, you've got the actual center
The center
Yeah.
waiting.
on the backside waiting. So that actually be really interesting to see how they play him.
I saw
Um,
somebody talking about this, Alec. I agree. I saw this too, and they were pointing to a clip from last week where Jeremy Sohan was down near the rim, and it was this exact scenario where Wimby had a catch on the 3 point line, and he blew by. He went to go to the rim and then tried to I think he tried to dump it off to Sohan there, and
mhm.
they were saying, "See, this is Sohan's problem. He can't shoot. He's mucking stuff up around the rim." But
Mm,
then, counter argument, Wimby has to make a better decision there because
right.
there was nobody from the 3 point line to the block. And
Okay.
what's to stop him from pulling? We saw Tim Duncan develop a little floater towards the end of his
Yeah.
career, something that Jokic used last year against Wimby to great effect. He's going to have to figure out that if this is the way that guys are going to defend him with the power forward and keep the center at the rim, he's
Mhm.
going to have to pull up for the elbow or for a little 12-foot little push shot floater to find a different option because there's going to be too many hands down at the rim like that
Interesting.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see. And also just like to see them match up, like, they list Wimby as 7'3.5" or something, and Zach Edey 7'3", but I bet
Yeah.
Wemby's 2-3 inches taller than him, just kind of like Rudy Gobert as well, right? You see those photos right next to each other. He's
Yeah.
just like taller than any human, period. Also, what's interesting is that you mentioned, like you said, Shea over Luka to start a franchise. I thought that was really interesting as well. Like, what do y'all think about that? Do you think that's makes sense?
Isn't Shea Gilgeous older than Luca?
I don't know.
He's 26
Okay.
and
Luka's younger, I guess. Yeah.
Lucas
Luca's
24 or
25.
5.
Yeah.
25.
I feel like this gets lost on people, man. People are acting like Shea Gilgeous is like in his third year in the league and he's 21, 22. Man is 26 years old.
I
Like
thought yeah.
Yeah, he's in
he's
his prime.
in his prime. Yeah, like he is firmly in his prime. So to
Interesting.
start a franchise, I think that's kind of weird, almost disrespectful to Luca. I know we're a Spurs podcast, but um, I don't know. Look what
If
Luca's
anything, I'm
done.
surprised more people didn't pick Ant. He's 21 or whatever.
Exactly. Yes.
21. But
Totally
yeah.
agree,
Yeah.
Stu. Ant's the real deal.
Yeah,
So I don't
he's
know.
great.
That's kind of weird. I feel like Shea, he's damn good, but he's not this young buck that people are making him out to be.
I'm also interested to see, like, here one time, if someone could ask Chris Paul, because he was with SGA in OKC, I believe, whenever he got traded over
Yep.
there.
They
And
made
he
playoffs.
Yeah, and he mentored, SGA, really helped him in his development. I wonder how he would compare him and Stefan, both kind of similar body types.
Mm.
I'm actually really curious to see if anybody would ask him that. So just an side note there.
Get you a sideline reporter pass.
Yeah,
Yeah, give
we'll
me a
ask him
media
if we have our
pass.
press pass, bro.
Jeez. I'm still working on my 10-day contract just to be on the team. So maybe I just ask one day. Tim, anything last thing you wanted to say there before we
Yeah.
move
What
on to
were
the
the
next
rest of them, Tim?
For which one?
The GM
GM?
votes.
Yeah, rookie of the year, like I said, was Reed, Edie, and then Castle. But then there's also which rookie will be the best player in 5 years. It's still Reed at number one, 43%. Castle's second, 17%. Yeah, Zach Edey didn't even get any votes for this one.
Interesting.
UCLA third. Bub Carrington, Washington, tied for fourth. That was also for who was the biggest steal. The draft was Carrington to Washington. Uh, Something to watch out for there. Steal the draft.
Yeah. Austin Rivers is part of that video that we just talked about. He also said Stefan's going to be the best player in the draft. You mark my words. And he
That's
said
what he
it
said,
very, very
Loving that.
confidently. And I agree with him. Also a really good take, Austin. Great job, baby. We'll see. Obviously, Reed Shepherd, he's got the shooting stroke. People are calling him the closest thing to Steph, shooting
which
wise.
is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's crazy
Compare
to put that on
19-year-old kid.
Oh
yeah.
my god, dude.
for
That's
sure.
insane to put
Wasn't even a starter in college.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe his shooting splits go crazy, but to put that kind of pressure and a comparison on the kid is nuts.
True. Very
Let
true.
him live, dude. Let him develop or not. I mean, he's on the Rockets, so maybe not. But
Yeah. I
That is-
don't mind.
That is the antithesis of NBA basketball. Like ESPN, you've got to like just dramatize everything. So I mean, I
yeah,
can see
first
it.
take culture.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, first take culture for sure.
Thanks, Stephen A.
Last preseason game is against the Houston Rockets, who we will be seeing a lot of to start the season. I think we play them like
Yeah.
3 times.
Three out of the first 10, I think.
Yeah. So we play them Thursday 10-17. What do y'all expect from this game? What do y'all hope to see in the last preseason game? What do you think we'll see? Stu, to you, anything?
Well, since we do play him so often at the beginning, I don't know if they've already said or Pop's already said, but I doubt Wemby will play a lot of minutes, if any. Maybe Chris too. Yeah, I haven't heard if they're playing or not, but yeah, I wouldn't expect us to show much. Just kind of go out there and play freely, and let the young guys run. I wouldn't expect us to be running full on plays with Chris and Wemby and all that when we're about to play him multiple times for something that really matters.
Sure. Yeah, I see it. And then also just let the young guys, like you said, just the last guys who are trying to fight for a roster spot, get at it. Yeah.
Let Zach out there the whole game, play 48 minutes.
I think we still have 2 cuts to go before we get to the regular season.
Okay, 2 cuts.
We cut Nathan Mensah a couple days ago, but I believe there's still 2 more. We've got too many guys on the roster right now, so we're gonna have to make 2 more cuts.
As in, we'll cut them to the Austin Spurs, or they're just off?
So from what I saw, it was we've got room for 1 more 2-way guy.
Okay.
And then still gonna have to cut 2 people. So we get to assign somebody that's not already assigned, and then 2 more to go, I think, after the Mensa release a few days ago.
I think Malachi Flynn's not eligible for a 2-way spot. So yeah, I don't know how he makes the team.
He's getting
That's a good point.
Oh man,
it's fun while it lasted. Malachi Flynn, Aaron, San Antonio
at least
might
we
be
talked
over
about
by the
him
next
tonight.
time we record.
R.I.P. baby, come on.
He's gonna have to go for 50 on Thursday for him to stay around.
I don't think he played tonight, did he, Tim?
No,
didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Damn.
Yeah, Minix, Ingram. Yeah, none of them played.
Well, Harrison Ingram,
my boy Riley Minix, baby. Hey, the footwork of that man.
He might get the last 2. I think he's going to get the last 2-way spot.
I hope so. I hope so.
So.
I think the thing that I'm looking forward to most, real quick,
Yep.
for the preseason game on Thursday, if Castle plays, which he's a rookie, I would expect him to get as many preseason minutes as he can. I am very interested to see the Reed Shepherd Stephon Castle matchup. We just spent a few minutes talking about the rookies, rookie of the year race, best player in 5 years. Those 2 going at it, especially with Shepherd being more of an offensive threat and Castle being just an innate defender right now. I think that's going to be really cool to watch. I hope Castle comes out on top, kind of sends a message going into the year with those 3 early matchups coming.
That will be great to watch, man. That'll be great to watch. You think Reed starts or no? No,
they got Van Vliet.
Yeah, that's right. They have Van Fleet. Yeah.
Van Vliet and Jalen Green, yeah, the
And
1-2
Jalen, yeah.
still.
They have a
So
lot of guys, actually. They have a lot of
A
talent.
lot of
they're
young
deep,
guys.
man. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
supposed to take another step this year. We'll see if they do.
right. So actually, they will match up. Then they'll both be coming off the bench. Then that'll be
Yep.
really, really interesting to see. Great,
Yeah, minutes
great
should
take.
line up there.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, if Chris Paul doesn't play, then Castle might start. I don't know. See what we'll have to see what lineups look like. But
Because it's our last
um,
preseason game.
yep, last one
Got it.
until we the opener, which is a week from Thursday against the Mavericks.
TNT.
Yep.
Yep,
It's your Mavs.
TNT here in Dallas. My
Oh.
Mavs, get out of here. Dude, I was thinking about going to that game, but those tickets are pricey. So
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna try to make it to the November game up here when they're back up here. But that's gonna be a premier game, Luca and Wemby opening night, TNT
Yeah.
in 8 days, 9 days.
It'll be fun to watch. It was fun last year when we opened up against them last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember, yeah, how that went down and Wemby kind of
We lost I think we lost by 7 or 10 or so, but it was like a good game till the
great
end.
game. Get to the
Yeah,
very end. Yeah.
I remember that atmosphere to start was electric,
Electric.
and it was in San Antonio, right?
Yes, it was in San Antonio.
Yeah,
Because this year's
yeah.
away, yeah.
Wemby was in
going
foul trouble.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yep.
he got in foul trouble, but he came in, especially the fourth quarter, and he did his thing.
I think Lively kind of outplayed him a little bit.
Yeah.
In that first
Yeah,
game.
low key.
Yeah.
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 No, everybody's head turned there. And then sure enough, he became a big part of that Dallas team, actually. Unfortunately, that
Yeah.
sucks that they got another one.
I think he's there to stay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyson Chandler Jr.
For sure. Well, I think that about covers it. We kind of went through a lot already tonight. You know, I guess the next time that we talk will be after the preseason. We'll be right between preseason and in between
Opening night.
Opening night. It'll be kind of a big, exciting week for us. I always get giddy, dude. I always get giddy. I feel that I feel it. I can smell it outside. It smells like fall, feels like fall around this time. It's like I'm in basketball mode. So I'm excited about it. Next Thursday will be a blast. I can't wait. Maybe we do a special edition pod, little live session or something afterwards to get a little
right
live
after
reaction.
the game or something. Just live reaction.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun. I'm down. What'd you say, Tim? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say next week's episode, Tuesday or whatever, we can do kind of a big season preview pod. Maybe we try to bring some, even though obviously no sponsors, but like some kind of betting thing where we pick like props for a game or something. That'd be cool.
We all
Love
have a
it.
pick and we make a little four legger.
I love it. That's a great idea, actually. Okay, I'm down for it, Tim. Someone set that up.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in from the Spurs Bros. Go Spurs, go.